You've downloaded the Buckeye Leafcast, featuring a triple dip with your host Andy Evans, featuring Kevin Imes and Ryan Ross Rohr. And then at some point, if you guys we all start chitter-chattering and overlapping one another, because I have a feeling we're all going to be kind of half drunk by the time this is over, because we're all fucking drinking right now, then fucking
right. Yeah, yes we are. I have a feeling hopefully it doesn't get to that, but it'll be fun if it does.
Hey, I'm 12 Rolling Rocks in, and I just opened my first gin, so let's do this shit.
Oh, Jesus, dude.
Yeah, love it.
And now, it's time for the Buckeye Leafcast with Andy Evans, Kevin Imes, and Ryan Ross Rohr. Well, this ought to be a fun podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Buckeye Leafcast! With your hosts, I've got a triple dip here for you, folks. It is my pleasure to introduce two buddies of mine, lifelong friends, huge Buckeye fans. You have heard both of these guys before, but this is the first time ever in Buckeye Leafcast history that I've got both of these motherfuckers on at the same fucking time. I'm talking about my boys, Kevin Imes and Triple R, the man, Ryan Ross Rohr.
What's going on, Buckeye fans? How y'all doing this Friday evening?
What a fantastic intro, Andrew.
Let me tell you what.
Great job, son. Great job.
Dude, both you motherfuckers are well deserving of an intro like that. And not only because this is a Leafcast of historic history. See, all right, I've got to preface this just right up front, all right? I'm going to let everybody know that the three of us are imbibing in some adult beverages at this current time, all right?
Just a couple.
Kevin
That's
is
right.
imbibing. In fact, we got all three spirits going on. Kevin is imbibing in a little bit of liquor. Ross is imbibing in the wine section. And I've got myself a good old crappy watered down Bud Light beer.
Good for you, Andy Evans. That sounds good.
Oh, probably.
I just ate dinner, that's why I'm drinking wine, but I'd much rather drink liquor at this particular point in time. After 5 or 6 bottles, I gotta take it.
Motherfucker, drink all the wine you want. Just be happy.
I'm definitely happy, so it's fantastic.
That's all that matters, motherfucker.
Folks, if this is not an indication of how this podcast is going to go, I don't know what is, because we are about to fucking tear this motherfucker a new asshole. A lot of shit to talk about here, guys. A lot of shit. We got some good games coming up this weekend, a couple in particular that I really want to talk about, but we would do our fans a disservice if we did not talk about the huge news of the day, and that is our boy, the Predator, number 2, junior defensive end from DeMatha High School out of Maryland, Chase Young, has been suspended for Saturday's upcoming game against the Terrapins. And so the news coming out right now, all right, is that he put a tweet out. He explained the situation. Ohio State has self-reported this. News is coming out from Joel Klatt from Fox about, a little more information on the situation. And Joel Klatt is apparently reporting that this is somewhat of a minor infraction. Ohio State has suspended him for the Maryland games on Saturday. However, there's, some conjecture going around as to who he got this. Well, let me just break it down. This is supposedly what happened. Chase Young took a small loan from a family friend that he's known for years and years and years. Last year, to help him out in a pinch, he repaid the loan. Now it's coming out that he took this money and Ohio State has now suspended him for a game. So, Kevin Imes, I'm going to start with you first, sir. What kind of implication does this have, or let me back up, not implication, but I mean, what does this mean for Ohio State moving forward?
What does this mean for Ohio State moving forward? You mean as a team for the next 4 games, or 5 games, or 6 as it probably will be? Is that what you mean?
Absolutely.
Okay, so if he's suspended, so the facts that I have heard and read about, and I would like to reference Joel Klatt as well. So initially this morning at about 8:03, I got a text that said that Chase Young was suspended and nobody was, or they didn't know, or not that they didn't know, but they weren't going to release the reason as to why. And then at about 10:30 or 11, I get another text that says that Chase Young is suspended because he took a loan from an agent. And then 3 or 4 hours later, I get another text that said, hey, it wasn't an agent, it was a friend of the family that he met after he committed to Ohio State. So all of these rumors and all of these Ohio State might have to vacate wins, all of this stuff on social media kind of pisses me off a little bit because everybody's jumping the gun. So here's the deal. It came out, so it's 8 o'clock right now, so it's 8:30 right now. So it came out 12 and a half hours ago that he was going to be suspended. And all this conjecture and all this bullshit and all these people that say these things about what Chase Young did or didn't do, they have no idea. So from what I see and what I understand is that he took a loan from a friend, a family friend, to help his folks get to the Rose Bowl, and he paid that loan back before it was even revealed that he got the loan. So it seems kind of silly to me that we're going through this process and all these things are happening, but if he broke the rule, then he broke the rule. From a football standpoint, without Chase Young on the field, without him on the gridiron, without him between the white lines, I don't think it matters that much. I don't.
Really? All right. So Ross,
Andy Evans, I don't. He's the best player in college football, but it's not like he's a quarterback. It's not like he's a running back. It's not like, does he impose his will upon the offense every single down, every single time? Yes, he does. But that doesn't. It's kind of like this is okay. Real quick, we are kind of like a Sunday, right? Like, you know when you go to the store or the Dairy Hut or whatever it is in your little town that you live in.
Pataskala Dairy Hut, baby.
I want to go to the dairy. I want to go to the Dairy Shack, and I want to get a sundae. And I want ice cream on the bottom, and I want some whipped cream on top. And then what do you do on top of that whipped cream? You put a cherry there, and that kind of makes the whole sundae, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's what Chase Young is. I mean, he's the cherry on top. He's going to make a lot of money on Sundays. He's going to be an unbelievable player for the NFL. He's probably going to go to the Bengals, which sucks ass, but that's where he's going to go. and he's basically the cherry. What happened last year when we didn't have Bosa?
Yeah.
We went on to win. Okay, so that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but you know what? Last year when they lost Joey Bosa, you had a Chase Young to be able to step into that spot. Or, well, actually,
Nick
technically, or Nick Bosa, I'm sorry. Nick Bosa. When you lost him, you still had Chase Young on one side, and you had a guy like Jonathan Cooper who was formidable enough. Not to say that they don't have that. If any position that Ohio State can afford to lose players, it is the defensive line. I mean, they are so deep. That is the deepest position on the team. But it's interesting to hear you say that it's not going to affect Ohio State in any way, shape, or form. Ross.
Well, I didn't say, hold on. I didn't say any way, shape, or form.
You did
what
not.
What I'm trying to say is, from a leadership standpoint, his presence, his acumen, what he does on the field, of course. He's a great leader. He's a great athlete. He's a phenomenal player. But in the long run, do I think that Chase, number 2 on the defensive side of the field, is going to affect whether or not we beat Penn State or Michigan? I don't think it does. I don't.
Interesting. So, Ross, what's your take on this?
Well, you guys have both mentioned, and I'll say the third name as well, and that is Joel Klatt. And ever since, the one time I think it was on the topic of Chase Howard when he was on the Colin Cowherd show probably a couple weeks ago, where Colin Cowherd was actually taking Joel Klatt to task on whether or not Chase Young was as great as everybody said he was, and Joel Klatt absolutely just dismantled Colin Cowherd, and I think he gained the entire Buckeye Nation as a result of that, which is why we're all singing his praises right now. And that's why we know of this guy, but he's a guy that we all trust, no doubt about it. And he basically came out and said 2-game suspension max, and I think that based upon what we hear out there as of right now, and granted we're in its infancy stages as of right now, we have absolutely no idea really how far this is going to go, because the topics of basically who it came from and how much it was are huge. There's no doubt about that, but it's looking like internally they're going to nail him for 2 games, which is a multi-game suspension. You could not ask for better timing of this. Maybe last week when we were going into a bye week, and then we had basically 2 more bye weeks to go, that would have been a better time. But hey, we now don't have to worry about Chase Young getting hurt for 2 weeks before he comes back angry against Penn State. So basically we have 3 bye weeks. So I'm looking at this as saying, hey, this guy's going to be back, and I think he's going to be his 2-game suspension. Again, he's going to come back angry. I think he's just going to basically Jerry Sandusky the entire Penn State offensive line, and I think that's basically what's going to happen. So I think the flip side of this whole entire thing is that I would probably say this is one less distraction, in all honesty, because we're not talking about Chase Young winning the Heisman anymore as a result of this. So that's one less distraction internally that this team has, and we can let everybody else outside the world talk about Ohio State and corrupt and this and that, and it's on record. We got what he wants. He's got a lawyer. We do all this, but again, I think in the grand scheme of everything that goes down, I think this is going to be a blip. I think in 2 weeks' time, no one's going to remember this really, because college football reaches its absolute peak, and I think that's what everybody's going to be enraptured in. And having Chase Young back on there is, I think we got a good shot.
So then let me ask you this, Ross. Is it almost an omen, like a good omen of sorts, that this happened because maybe this will keep Ohio State hungry in the hunt for the national title, as well as maybe not let things get too much into Chase Young's head as far as the hype surrounding him? Because you just mentioned it. I mean, ever since Joel Klatt a couple of games ago was like, dude, this guy should be on the Heisman list. This guy should be a Heisman Trophy candidate. Not to say that affected his game at all, because if anything else, dude, we saw him ball out against Wisconsin 2 weekends ago, and he had his best game of the season. And when you're a superstar, you want your stars to ball out against the best competition, and that's what Chase Young did. But still, is this a good thing? And then, Kevin, I want you to respond about Chase Young getting this to happen to him. Maybe this kind of pulls things back, and this actually keeps him in check, and like you said, makes him angrier and hungrier for the season.
Well, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily call it an omen. This is something that happened, a year or 2 ago, so it's not like something that just happened. Like, you got all these people out there right now, and they're saying, Chase Young, you idiot, you're the best, you're the number 1 overall draft pick, you got millions, why would you take money? Because he wasn't this good when he took that money, that's why. So he was up and coming, and he was doing all this beforehand. So all the people out there that are just kind of calling Chase Young an idiot, saying, you took this, you took that, how dare you, that's just dumb, all right, because it is dumb, but based upon what it was for. And again, the facts still need to come out. It's minor, but to answer the question, yes, and I won't take long. But they're going to come back angry, yes. They're going to come back hungry, yes. Is this a good thing that happens to them? It's not good right now, but if they go on to win a national championship, they're going to look back at this and say, hey, this was the breaking point in the season where we all got together and do it. It could go one way or the other. It's a matter of it's coaching. I mean, as we said with Ryan Day, he's a first-year coach in a situation like this, and he hasn't felt any adversity on the field. And lo and behold, the first issue that this guy's got to deal is a huge load off the field. So there's no telling really right now how this is going to impact anything. And I don't necessarily think that both Rutgers and Maryland are a good barometer of that. But they're going to be angry. And I think it's we'll see. That's basically all we got right now. We'll see.
I tell you what, Ross, I couldn't agree with you more, and you couldn't have put it more eloquently. I don't think that Maryland and Rutgers is a good barometer at all for what's going to happen. And like you said, if he sits out 2 games, which it kind of sounds like what's going to happen, then you know what? It might be a good thing, Andy Evans. It might be a good thing. And like Ross just said, it's probably not a good thing right now, but after we win the national championship on January 7th or 17th or whatever it may be.
Hold on, whoa.
What?
Why not? Why not?
We can look back. We can look back and say, hey, maybe Chase Young getting hit with that brought the team together and helped us move on to beat Joe Burrow in the national championship. But I will say this. Anybody that says that Chase Young, that there's something wrong with Chase Young because he took money and then paid it back is a dick. You're a dick. I mean, he wanted to get it. If it's true, if this is what happened, if he was really taking money to send his family to watch him play in a fucking Rose Bowl with Urban Meyer as the okay, stop your attack on Chase Young. Stop. If that's what happened, I don't want to hear anybody's attack on Chase Young. He wanted his family to be there when he won a fucking Rose Bowl. Who wouldn't want that?
Well, you know what? He may not have to worry about getting loans from family members or friends or anybody else anymore because Chase Young now, legally, because a court of law ruled that the NCAA is not within their own rules and rights to tell a human being that they cannot go out and now profit from their own likeness. So now, what the fuck? Chase Young, he's going to go set up a fucking table at the next, fucking home and garden show in downtown Columbus and fucking sign autographs all day long and make a fat chunk of cheddar.
Well, you know what, Andy Evans?
That's about to happen.
No, it will happen. It is going to happen. I guarantee you that.
Oh, it is. Yeah, 100%. It is going to. That's a topic for another day, but it is going to happen. Absolutely.
Well, no,
we wouldn't be dealing with stuff like this if it did happen. I can tell you that.
Exactly. So, what do you guys think about that?
You're goddamn right.
It's a topic right now, Ross. What do you think about this ruling? Do you think it's fair? Unfair? Do you think it's a step in the right direction? Or do you think this is something that's just going to cause more issues down the road?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I can see both sides of it. The way that the universities profit off of the likeness of these kids, it almost makes you sick to your stomach. And then you hear stuff like what's going on with Chase Young, and it makes you even more sick to your stomach. This just validates it. And this may be in the earliest stages, but Chase Young, quite honestly, if you want to get into the topic of paying athletes, this could be a turning point in all of sports. This is the potential number 1 overall draft pick we're talking about here, who is now basically going to get somehow, maybe possibly never step foot on Ohio State soil again for something that they are just about to make legal. So and you hear about all this. So you might even see Ohio State maybe even do like a countersuit or something to where this completely and totally changes everything. And as I said, is that good for us in the university? We got games. I don't know, but paying athletes, this is the one thing. There's no other fan base in the world right now that is probably more understanding of paying athletes for their livelihood other than us right now, because this is exactly what we're going through, and it would not happen, it probably won't happen to anybody else ever again. So that's where it's at.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I'm kind of old school with some of this stuff. I understand that the universities make a lot of money off of their likeliness. I get that part. I get that point. But I also struggle with the fact that there's softball players and shot putters and long jumpers and lacrosse players.
Synchronized swimming.
Yes, exactly. So to be fair, and I'm not saying that I'm agnostic on this. I really am. I really don't know where to go.
Yeah.
I'm completely but how is it fair? Let's say, okay, let's just use Chase Young as the example. Chase Young goes to the varsity club on on Lane Avenue tomorrow and pitches a fucking tent and sits down on a table and says, I'll sign whatever you have for $20 a piece. And fucking 1,000 people show up.
Yeah.
But then the goddamn rower shows up at Lane Avenue and says, I'll sign whatever you got for $1 a piece. And nobody... It's just... I get the fact that the universities and the NCAA make a shit ton of money off of these kids. And I understand that there's a lot of money to be made on both sides of this, but I do not want to discount the fact that most of these athletes, most of them, it's only 2 or 3%, it's less than that, 1 or 2% of the athletes that go to these major universities make it to the next level. But everybody else gets a degree for free from The Ohio State University. I have $60,000 in student debt right now because I had to borrow money to go to school. I have 2 degrees, but I'm not using either one of them. The 1 or 2% that go to these universities that have the chance to make it the next level shouldn't discount the 98% that go and struggle every day.
Well, and you know what though? That's an interesting point. And I'm going to throw in my 2 cents on this whole Chase Young situation, as well as student athletes profiting from their likenesses. But
hey, real quick, Andrew, just a counterpoint just on that, and I'll be super quick.
No.
I know I made a comment. Look, Kevin, I agree with absolutely 100% everything you just say, and actually, I am against paying these athletes. I know I made a compelling argument in the last point where I spoke, only because that's the reality, because it's going to happen. But
very intelligently, by the way. Thank you.
Yes.
No, I'm serious. That's serious. No, I'm being serious.
But I'm against it. I am absolutely against it. I think you give an 18-year-old all this money that they're going to do, and bad things are going to happen. What good things? I have no idea. But, Andrew, we talked about a trust fund and putting it in there, and I wanted to make sure that they can't dig into that until they graduate, is what I was telling you about before when we had this conversation before. But I'm against it.
Not even graduate. Before, when you're 18 years old, you're not even a real person yet.
I agree.
You're an idiot.
They're going to make bad choices
by your genitals.
I don't know. I'm 42 years old, and I kind of think with my genitals, and I'm still an idiot.
See what I'm saying?
I think with your genitals.
Well, you're not the only one.
Andrew, what's your take, man? What's going on?
Let me tell you something, Ross. Andy has a bunch of cats that think with his genitals.
That's a fair point. That's a fair... No, I can't disagree with that logic whatsoever. Okay.
Andrew, get us back on track, Andy Evans. Get us back on track.
First of all, Kevin, to your point about the, synchronized swimmer, the golfer, the rower, the pistol team person, the cross-country person, even track star, hell, maybe even baseball star, hell, maybe even basketball star.
Correct.
That want to do what Chase Young could do and go set up a tent and have people lining up around, friggin' the corner of High and Lane there, around the B-dubs, and he's sitting at the Varsity Club, which if you're from Columbus and you know where the Varsity Club and how far High and Lane is, that's a pretty goddamn long fucking line. But,
so Andy Evans,
you know what?
Andy Evans, let me say, it's 6 blocks.
And I mean, legitimately, you're walking... I'd probably put it at what? Every bit of half a mile? 3/4 of a mile?
6 blocks, brother. It's 6 blocks.
Yeah. So we live, obviously, in a country that is based on capitalism, and it's sad to say, but more people show up to watch football than they do synchronized swimming and golf. And
of course we do.
Even basketball, everything, right? So in that regard, does it suck that Chase Young can set up a booth and sell his shit for $20 a pop, and the expert marksman on the fucking pistol team who could probably shoot Chase Young between the fucking eyes from the top of the fucking horseshoe from like 1,000 feet away and kill him while he's on the field? Listen, no, Kevin, listen. Just listen.
He's the predator. You cannot shoot him in the face.
Well, maybe. All right, then you know what? Fucking throw a grenade down on the field and blow his ass up.
That won't do it either. He's the predator, motherfucker.
My point being is that, is it unfair, to a certain degree that there will be players who will benefit more from their likeness than other student athletes? Well, the only thing I can say is that that's capitalism at its finest. And we finally got...
Okay. It is capitalism at its finest.
Okay.
I get that.
Right.
But my point that I'm trying to convey, which I probably am not doing a very good job right now, because I'm 12 Rolling Rocks in.
Yeah.
Half again.
No, you drunk ass.
But here's my point. It's not fair for that to happen. It's just like, you know what, Andy Evans, Ross, it's just like this fucking gender fucking thing that we're going through. It's the same thing.
Boy.
It's less than 1%. We're making an exception for less than 1%. Why do I have to change everything that I do for less than 1%? Why does the women's volleyball team, which, by the way, if you know, holy shit. But anyway, why do they have to take, why do they get less than Chase Young or Justin Fields or J.K. Dobbins we're talking about 4 or 5 players that can go out on Lane Avenue right now, today, this moment, and get whatever piece of ass they want.
Because, dude, first of all, all right, let's, folks, once again, remember, we are all drinking at this point, and Kevin has apparently had the most beverages of anybody, but we're trying to catch up. But no, you know what? Here's the thing. Dude. All right, it's capitalism. It's popularity. You can charge whatever you want to charge for your likeness, and if people
you choose what to do, you just said it best. You choose to be a quarterback. You choose to be a running back. You choose to be a doctor. You choose to be a busboy. You choose whatever. Some of us would like other things more than not. But look, again, I think it's horrible too that these guys are going to be able to. Not horrible. I can't necessarily say horrible. I don't think it's a good thing that these guys can bank off of their livelihood either. I'm not all for it. But I do think that in situations like, let's say, if you're giving it back if you're making money off your autographs and it's regulated in some way, and then they can use that to bring your whole town to the Rose Bowl so that we don't have this issue, then that's what it should be used for. I think there should be some type of regulatory thing going on if we are to pay these athletes. Somebody has got to watch over this because we are giving it to 18-year-old kids who are going to make bad decisions. But in a situation where you're paying these guys, and it's a matter of getting the whole family to travel or something along those lines, man, the kid's going to want that. That's what they're doing. So as long as he's not going out.
Where did that start and end?
Yeah, I know, man. I agree with you 100%. This is only the beginning. That's the scary part. It's going to, and this is why I am against it, is because there are going to be those situations where, this stuff is used the wrong way, and it's going to be a wrong way in a big way. And that's just...
Can you imagine, let's say, Ross, I know your brother, but I don't know you very well. And did you play sports in high school?
I had bad knees. I came in at the end of my junior year, my senior year, which you have already graduated if you're a year ahead of me.
Okay,
so
Kevin.
What?
Ross was in the flag corps.
Yeah.
That's
you said
okay.
Flag corps?
So we can... No, don't go there. Don't go there. No.
The flag corps. Flag.
Were you associated with some kind of club or team?
I kind of played baseball briefly.
Okay, so let's say you walked in to a baseball meeting and one player out of the 14 of you, one player was decked out in Nike shit and had fucking beats on.
Oh, it's gonna happen.
Had bitches behind him, and I mean, I understand it's gonna happen. I get that part, but it shouldn't.
Yeah.
It shouldn't.
Well,
it shouldn't happen. I can tell you a story. I can tell you a quick story, real quick.
All right.
I've worked for Federal Express for over 20 years. I started in 1998. In 2001, I was delivering on campus, and I walked up to a house on 12th Avenue, maybe 13th Avenue. I can't remember exactly. And there were 4 giant men sitting on the front porch.
Having sex with each other?
No, that was later.
Oh, okay.
Not that. But I walked
That
up
would
to
at
the
least
porch.
involve us 3.
I walk up to the porch, and I'm delivering a package, and they're laughing. And I'm like, why are you guys laughing? And they're like, turn around. So I turn around, and across the street, there's 6 girls completely naked, just showing themselves to the gentleman on the porch.
Nice.
They were that was the offensive line for the Buckeyes. Like, you can't...
Okay.
No amount of money.
I want to be an offensive lineman.
Yes.
I want to be the towel boy.
I want to be the punter. That's who I want.
They may not be making money, but it sounds like they got it pretty well.
That's right. That's what I'm saying. I mean, the benefits that you get on campus, you get a degree, you get free food, you get free clothes, I understand that the university is making some cash off of what they do. I get that part. But they're also getting, if they apply themselves, an education and a whole lot of pussy.
See, okay, so this is kind of what I was alluding towards, and once again, we are in a country, a nation that believes in capitalism. You know, you pay whatever price you're willing to pay for something, and when someone sets that price and you're willing to pay it, then there you go. That's the rules, plain and simple. Just because someone says, I'm Chase Young, I'm going to charge you $20 to sign some silly helmet you just bought around the corner at College Traditions, or whatever the case is. If you're willing to pay that $20, then that's on you. That person wants that $20, and they're allowed to charge that fee, and you're willing to pay it. That's capitalism at its finest. However, do I agree with college athletes getting paid, if you will, to play college football, which that's not the case, at least just yet. It's not like not yet, but they're not being recruited to say, hey, you're Justin Fields, you're Dwayne Haskins, JT Barrett, Craig Krenzel, whatever the case is, Maurice Claret, Chase Young, you're going to be...
Andy Evans, don't say that name.
Well, I just did, but my point being is that you are... Seriously, let's go back to that. Let's go back to a Beanie Wells. Let's go back to a Maurice Claret and just take this into consideration. You are the number... Listen. Listen.
Beanie Wells.
No. Listen to what I'm saying. You are the USA Today Gatorade National Player of the Year. I want you to come play for me. Okay, how much are you offering me? We pay that position $70,000 a year. Oh, well, LSU's offering me $100,000. It's going to get to that point. It's not there yet. But the fact that the NCAA or the courts have now opened the door for a college athlete profiting off of their likeness, I kind of agree with that. I agree with it. But do I agree with paying a college athlete who is going to receive a free education along with a monthly stipend, because let's not forget that, folks, that these players, they poor mouth it, but yet they are getting a monthly stipend. And you want to know what, kids? Join the real fucking world, all right? I'm sorry that you have to go to school and you still get paid a monthly stipend by your school to go out and live, okay, every month, all right? But join the real fucking world where we've all got fucking responsibilities, we've all got bills to pay, we've all got fucking different shit to take care of. That's the real fucking world. And you want to know what? You want to know what? Hold on. You want to know what? You want to know what? You want your free education. Your free education. Okay, I understand you have to play basketball. You have to play football. You have to play a sport to get it. But now, not only are you going to get that free education, and which is going to hopefully allow you to get a decent job when you get out of school, which the market's so flooded right now, that's a whole nother topic. But the point being, you get a free education, and you get to profit off your likeness, and you get a stipend each month. And the thing is, you got to go to class, and then every now and again, you got to go play a game. Look, I understand it's tough, but once again, join the real fucking world. If we start paying these kids to play, not just profit off their likeness, okay, Kevin and Ross, but play that position in college sports, now we are headed down a completely different path, which I absolutely 100% do not agree with. If you want to go set up a tent and you want to charge people to sign a football or a basketball or a baseball or a fucking rifle or your foot because you're a synchronized swimmer and that's the only part that's sticking up half the time out of the pool, then fine. Fine. Do I agree with that. But don't start paying these kids to actually play the game.
I agree 100%, Andy Evans. You can't do this. Cannot happen. I'm not trying to sound like a curmudgeon. I'm not trying to sound like an old crusty man that has 3 pieces of toast every morning, goes to work with my fucking lunchbox, and comes home and expects dinner to be ready. I'm not trying to say that. But what I am trying to say is that if you pay these kids, there's no end. It doesn't stop.
Well, and that's what I'm saying too. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Like, what do you do about let's say Tuck Borland? What do you do about him? Does he make 30% less than Chase Young because he doesn't have that much of an impact on the game? Like, this can't happen. We can't go this. And Ross, you know what? You're 100% correct. It's going to, but I don't know what it does. Does it make it the WWE? Does it make it the XFL? Or is college football? Sorry, I have spittle on my lip.
Well, hey, the thing is, we're not going to know. We're not going to the one thing I can tell you is you should be able to get like NCAA football back now, right? With like the names on the back of the jerseys and like actual skill sets. I mean, that kind of puts this whole thing into perspective, right? Because they don't have.
But they should make money off of that. They really should.
I have a feeling they probably will. That's absolutely going to be in the docket, and that's where you start getting into some really ridiculous cash. All right. So if you're getting, let's say, for instance, when's the last? Like, I don't play like football, Andrew. I know that you played this football on these game systems all the time, and they stopped doing this, right? To where you couldn't put the names on the back of the jerseys and the skill set of these guys, right?
Yeah, but you're right, Ross. But you know what you can do? You can go into the game and you can put the name on the back and you can rate them however you want to.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But now you won't have to do that. That seems like a lot of work, my lord.
Well, you know what? The people that play those games have a lot of fucking time.
Well, speaking about playing games here, gentlemen, I think we've exhausted this conversation as much as we're going to exhaust it. Let's talk about some big-time college football coming up this weekend. We've got 3 games. Well, no, you know what? We've got 4 games that I actually want to break down. And, of course, everybody knows about the big one that I really want to talk about the most out of any game that's going on this weekend.
Penn State and Minnesota.
Actually, I was going to say Purdue at Northwestern. It should be a great one. Noon. Big Ten Network. My ball bag's going to be sweating watching some Purdue at Northwestern. No, but Penn State, Minnesota, Kevin, yes, that is one game. Obviously, want to talk about the Terrapins visiting the Horseshoe here. Noon game on Fox on Saturday afternoon against our beloved Buckeyes. Also want to talk about a little bit of Iowa at Wisconsin. That's a 4 p.m. game following the Buckeyes and Terrapins on Fox. But, of course, there's the fucking knee knocker, the Donnybrook, the head banger, the golly washer, the whatever you want to call it at 3:30 on CBS. Number 2, number 3, LSU-Alabama. But first, let's start with Penn State, Minnesota. Gentlemen, this is 2 undefeated teams taking on one another that has some huge Big Ten championship game implications. When the fuck was the last time we ever talked about Minnesota being relevant in the Big Ten conversation? Here we are, though, these 2 squads taking on one another. This is a noon game on ABC, same time as Maryland and Ohio State. Is this a huge game, or is this completely overblown and Minnesota is going to get their doors blown off? Because let me tell you what, this is a game that is taking place at TCF Bank Stadium in Minneapolis, home game, cold weather, outside Minnesota. Kevin, I want to get your thoughts on this game. Are you looking forward to it, or is this a complete nothing?
First of all, the TC Bank Arena, that makes me laugh. So the TC Bank...
TCF.
I'm sorry, the TCF Bank gives loans to my fan. They don't care what the fuck your credit rating is. They give it to everybody. It cracks me up, the fact that where they play outdoors now, it's the TCF Bank. That's hilarious to me. Anyway, is it going to be a game? I don't really know. I don't know. I watch a lot of college football. Most of my Saturdays, I sit down and watch as many games as I can. But I can't tell you the last time I saw Minnesota on an ABC game. Are you kidding me? So let's see how they run the ball. Let's see how they control the offensive line. Let's see how Penn State is, to me, a ghost. Remember a couple weeks ago, quarterback, what was it, Buffalo, Josh Allen? No, Sam Darnold for the Jets was seeing ghosts when they played the Patriots. I think that's kind of what Penn State is. They're a ghost. I don't know anything about them. I've tried to watch them. I can't find them anywhere. They don't seem to be that good. I don't know who their quarterback is. I'm not excited about what they do on the field. This seems like a 6-9 game. ABC is tanking on the viewership, and I don't see it really mattering.
Ross, what do you think? Where are you at?
Penn State, Minnesota. So I think this is probably a battle between the coaches who are probably going to finish 1 and 2 in Big Ten Coach of the Year honors, just because.
I know, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, probably going to PJ Fleck has probably already won that award, regardless if he loses 3 of his last 4 games, finally against ranked opponents. We don't know anything about Minnesota. I mean, nothing. We know that they have beaten the teams that they should have beaten. We don't know if they can beat a team that they actually should not have beaten, because they haven't played anybody that they should have lost to. So or should have beaten. I think Penn State will win this game. I do think the environment will be awesome. It's going to be cold, but I just think the level of talent that Minnesota is going to see from what they have seen so far to what they're going to see at Penn State is going to be a little different. Things are not going to come easy. Things are going to come really fast at them. And at this particular point in time, the only reason that I can see Penn State losing this game is if they are actually looking ahead. But I mean, I don't see Penn State losing this game. I just don't. But then again, I don't know that much about Minnesota.
Well, here's some stats.
What do you think they're looking forward to, though? I just don't. I was absolutely taken aback by the fact that Penn State was ranked number 4.
No,
I don't understand. I mean, I don't know what they're doing, what they've done in the past. What's his name? James Franklin? Is that his name?
Yeah.
Isn't he? Yeah, isn't he like he looks like a comedian, right? Isn't there a comedian out there? I just don't understand why Penn State would even be in the conversation. Like, okay, Minnesota it has the same record as Penn State, but Minnesota's ranked 17th, right?
Yes.
Okay, so Penn State, why are they in the conversation? Why
because they're Penn State and Minnesota is Minnesota, period.
But Andy, that's not right. Okay.
Well, you know what, Kevin? I would love to have sex with 10 hookers who are all fucking each other in the butt, and I'm licking the poop from the double dildo, but it's not going to happen, so I don't know. That's not right either.
It absolutely can happen. More so than...
Andy Evans, you've gone too far. And when we go to your bachelor party, if you want to lick some poop off some hookers' asses, I'll make sure it happens.
Okay. All right, you're on. I think I'm gonna cut that part. No, seriously.
How ironic is it we're talking about fucking each other in the ass when we're talking about Penn State?
That's exactly right. Back to Sandusky.
Yeah. So,
no, but here's the thing. I think that Ross and Kevin, this is going to be a game that's going to be interesting for the first half. You know, we are talking about a Minnesota team that, you know, statistically right now, this is the second and third ranked scoring offenses in the Big Ten going up against each other. Penn State second to Ohio State by almost 10 points a game at 38 points. And you want to know what? Actually, listen to this. Penn State is second in the Big Ten, averaging 38.5 points a game. Third, Minnesota at 38.4 points per game. Literally, 0.1 points per game separates the second and third ranked scoring offenses in the Big Ten, and they are squaring off against one another this weekend. Now, scoring defense, here's where it gets a little bit dicey, because Penn State allowing 9 points a game, Minnesota allowing 20 points per game. But nonetheless, I hear what you're saying, Ross, and I agree with you. We haven't seen a whole lot out of Minnesota. In fact, the first 3 games that Minnesota won this year, 2 of the 3 were against FCS teams, and I think they won each one of their first 3 games of the season. 2 out of those 3 were by like 3 points. So this 8-0, 17th ranked Minnesota Golden Gopher football team, yeah, I agree. They are not a team that we know a lot about. Are they fraudulent or not? They've really come on here since the Purdue game. In fact, I'm looking at their schedule right now. They won at home against San Diego State 28-27, which San Diego State's actually a pretty good FCS football team, right? Yeah, that's right. Dude.
I mean, don't dig too much dip into this game, because I'm going to tell you what's going to be one of 2 things. Either Penn Penn State should win this game, but if they don't, then we will know Minnesota's absolutely for real. If they go in there and get beat, then just bye-bye Minnesota, because you're probably not going to win the next couple of games. We actually probably want Penn State to actually win this game because it looks better for us.
Correct.
But however, I mean, we win no matter what. We're in. Just take care of business that way. So it doesn't really matter what happens around us, but it definitely looks better for like a top 5 matchup. And then probably Minnesota wins out, then we play them again. Or we play them somewhere down the road.
No, we don't play them at all.
Can you imagine? Hold on. Can you imagine what we would do to Minnesota?
Yeah, they have a 2-game lead. Like they have a 2-game lead
in the West
Division. I get it, Ross. I get it, but they still play Wisconsin. They still play Iowa, right?
Yep.
Penn State and then somebody like Northwestern or something.
Okay. No, Minnesota
doesn't count.
Yeah, well, Minnesota has Penn State, obviously, on Saturday. They do have Northwestern after that. The last 2 games of Minnesota's season is
Iowa, Wisconsin.
Yep, no, wait, I'm sorry. They have Penn State this weekend. They're at Iowa next weekend. Then they travel to Northwestern the weekend after that, and then they do host Wisconsin. But, I mean, still,
there you go.
Penn State, Iowa, Wisconsin. And they're 8-0 at this point, and they've been beaten up on some Big Ten teams up until now. But quite frankly, I'm with you, Ross. I don't think we've seen enough out of this.
Beat up on the worst Big Ten teams. So
exactly.
Again, like I said, it's a major step up for Minnesota in terms of competition. But the crazy thing about this is this still doesn't break Minnesota's season because Penn State's on the other side. They're on the other division. So it's they're 2 games up right now. So they could technically afford to lose this game and then get into the Big Ten championship with 1 loss.
Right.
Let's just say, for instance, how crazy would it be, Minnesota, a Big Ten champion with 1 loss? I mean, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I'm saying even if they lose this Penn State game, I mean, that could still possibly happen.
Well,
but what does that matter in the whole scope of things?
Well, I mean, it doesn't Minnesota wins, but
what I'm trying to say is, Andy just said a couple minutes ago, Minnesota's Minnesota. Like,
yeah, they're terrible.
Right. Well, and Ross said it too.
Glenn Haskins, what was his name?
Glenn Mason.
Glenn Mason. I mean, come on. That's the high point of Minnesota football is Glenn Mason. The guy that
PJ Fleck now.
Yeah, but stop. You've gone too far.
Well, he's going to win Big Ten Coach of the Year, unfortunately.
Really? You don't think Ryan Day is going to win Big Ten?
Absolutely not.
Why?
I'm with Ross on this one.
Because no Big Ten coach ever wins that award. Even ones that win national championships don't win a conference award.
Yeah,
so I understand that.
No. Do you realize the last time that a Big Ten coach won Coach of the Year? Do you know this stat? Take a guess.
I do.
Wait, all right, Kevin, take a guess.
My guess was John Cooper, but obviously I was wrong because Ross knows what's up.
Ross, when was it?
It's good old, it's not Earl Bruce.
Yep.
Right after Woody.
84?
Woody.
Nope. 1979, Earl Bruce's first year as head coach at The Ohio State University took him to an undefeated season, appearance in the Rose Bowl, and a 17-16 loss to the number 2 USC Trojans for the national championship.
40 years.
40 years.
0.
There has been
all the coaches that have come through between Trussell and Meyer and Cooper. My Lord.
Yeah.
40 years. None of those guys ever won it.
Yeah.
Ross.
Yeah.
Yo.
Brian Day wins out. He's Coach of the Year.
I don't know, because PJ Fleck, I mean, I'm telling you.
He's going to lose the next 4 fucking games.
He might.
Are you kidding me?
I agree with you.
Now,
but they never look at it that way. They look because Ohio State is supposed to win every year. All these other teams are not. Minnesota was supposed to do nothing, and now they're all of a sudden relevant. So they're always.
They're not relevant. They're 17th in the country. That's not relevant.
Well, not yet, Kevin. Not yet.
Hold on. What's Michigan's rank?
What are they? Oh no, they're what? 18th?
No! I thought they're higher than that.
Hold on.
13th or 14th, right?
Hold on.
I think so.
I'm tapping.
Look that shit up, Andy Evans.
I'm looking. I'm on the computer. Hold
Listen,
on.
Kevin, I'm looking at it this way, too. Urban Meyer took over in his first year, went 12-0, didn't win it. He won a national championship, didn't win it. Jim Tressel, 2002 national championship, didn't win it. 2006 Big Ten championship game, didn't win it. 2007 Big Ten championship, national championship game, didn't win it.
Actually, no, Ross, not 07. They didn't win the Big Ten championship because Illinois did. But anyways, still went to the national championship.
It does not matter if you win Big Ten championships. It doesn't matter if you win national championships. We're expected to do it every single year, which is why
I understand what you're saying. I get it, but he's a first-year coach. He's going to win out. He's going to be undefeated before his first bowl game.
Now, Kevin,
you're preaching to the choir. I think you should too, but man, I'm going to tell you, they just don't look at it that way.
Yeah, Kevin.
TJ Fleck is going to lose the next 4 games.
Well, all right. Here's the
James Franklin will probably win Big Ten Coach of the Year, but
James Franklin's going to lose the next 2 games.
Let's make sure they lose these games, and then we'll talk. But look, I agree with you, but it happens. It's happened before, and we haven't won it. I mean, I
understand what you're saying. I get it.
Having this conversation numerous times in years past, and
all right. So to answer your guys' question, here we go. You ready? These.
Fuck yeah, I'm ready. I'm not anything but fucking ready.
All right. So these are the Big Ten teams appearing in the first official top 25 rankings of the College Football Playoff Committee, which this is now the only rankings that matter. Who cares about AP? Who cares about USA Today Coaches Poll? Who cares about Jeff Sagarin? Okay?
Please bring up Jeff Sagarin, please.
No.
I want to watch your head explode on my wall.
We're not.
What's his name? Sagarin?
Yeah, dude. No.
Oh, Sagarin. Okay.
Okay. Obviously, we know the Buckeyes are number 1. Now we have to go all the way down to number 13 until we get to our next Big Ten team, which is Wisconsin.
Right.
Directly below them, in 14th place,
Michigan,
are the Smelly Rodents.
Okay, so how many losses do they have?
2.
2, right? 2.
Yep.
Okay.
7 and 2.
No. So they have 2 losses, and they're ranked 4 spots ahead of Minnesota.
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
3 spots, technically. Minnesota is, it's well, okay, yeah. Minnesota, 7,
I can do math,
17.
motherfucker.
No, you said 4.
And you said 17.
Yeah.
That's 4.
That's 3 spots, dickhead. God, take your fucking drunk ass to bed, you fucking piece of shit. All right. Iowa is 18th, and then that's it. That's the end of the Big Ten. So the Big Ten has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with the number 1 team in the country.
Until this next one happens. Hey, look. I mean,
until this next one happens. All right.
So throw it in there. Let's just. I mean, expectations for the season as of right now, having to go through it. Have this team exceeded my personal expectations? I'm going to say the positions and actually the players have exceeded. The way they have played has exceeded. But I'm going to tell you right now. I think in terms of where I thought they would be right now, I think it has matched my expectations. Every single thing that we deal with this year depends upon that Penn State game, and that's basically it. If we don't win that game, we're not even playing for a Big Ten championship game, so we need to be ready for that particular game. All this other stuff as far as the rankings and what they go, and there's no doubt that Michigan actually has looked better the last couple times, at least last quarters, let's put it that way, since pretty much the second half of that Penn State game. So for like, and I get it. Now they're out there throwing shade at us and trying to rile us up and doing all this stuff. And let's see what they do against Michigan State, because that's a rivalry game. And I still think that I don't think that Michigan is any good, even though I think they are playing better. And us by any means, if you told me at the beginning of the season, I said the 2 games that were in question were Penn State and the garbage up north. But I will say,
hold on. before the season, we thought Wisconsin was going to be a game as well.
Oh, I agree.
So we're sitting,
Penn State is going to be.
Really?
Yeah.
Nebraska?
We lose that game, we're done. We lose that game.
Okay, I get it. But everybody says the next game is the test. We've been talking about this for 2.5 months.
Sure.
Nebraska, Michigan State, Wisconsin. Come on. I don't think there's a test in the Big Ten. Ross, I honestly don't think there's a test until LSU.
No, I agree. LSU, as far as so we're going to the chain.
All right. I'm gonna cut you drunk fuckers off because here's the deal. All right. So we all agree that Penn State is going to beat Minnesota and give them their first loss of the season, which now means that there.
I didn't agree with that. I didn't agree with that.
You didn't?
Don't sleep on the golden fucking Gophers, motherfucker.
Yeah, right, dude. You just said that fucking Penn State was gonna fucking clean the floor with Minnesota.
I'm just saying, don't sleep on fucking the Gophers.
Yeah, but you agree that Penn State's going to win. You said so earlier, you drunk piece of shit.
Yes, Penn State is going to win. Penn State is going to win by 17.
Yeah, there we go, butthole.
Okay.
All right, so Penn State beats Minnesota, giving Minnesota their first loss. But to your point, Ross, Minnesota can afford a loss because they still have Wisconsin and Iowa coming up to play, which Iowa, Wisconsin play each other this weekend. And once again, Iowa at Wisconsin.
It's all about Minnesota at this point.
No, time out. Listen.
They have a 2-game lead. Minnesota has
exactly.
a 2-game lead.
No. Listen,
though.
Listen. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Wait. That's not a game that's on the radar. Iowa against Wisconsin. It doesn't matter. Who cares who wins and who loses? It only matters whether or not they beat Minnesota or not when they play each other.
Now listen.
Hey, it's on the Gator.
That's why Andy's going to watch it front and center with a big bag of dicks fucking popping out like that mama shows.
Yeah, and I'll have your fucking dad over here fucking him in the ass while I'm watching it too. So,
oh, that's a whole lot of motion I don't want to see.
Listen. This Iowa at Wisconsin game is huge, and let me tell you why. Minnesota loses to Penn State. Whoever wins between Iowa and Wisconsin, if they beat Minnesota, because remember, no. Now listen. No. You've got to shut the fuck up and listen to me, because I've listened to you two assholes. All right.
If this, and then that happened. Come on, dude.
All right. So let's talk about LSU-Alabama. All right. Who wins LSU-Alabama? Because we've got we're over an hour now, and it's time to fucking cut it off. All right. LSU-Alabama. Kevin, who you got?
I got fucking LSU all day, every day.
Yeah, you're fucking retarded. All right, Ross, who you got?
Why would you say that, you dirty fuck? That's not what's going to happen. LSU is going to beat Alabama by between 11 and 14. Put your fucking dollars down now.
All right, Ryan, give me your pick here.
I'm just trying to think of how they're coming up with those 11 points. What is that? Like 3 field goals and a safety? Is that what? That's how
motherfucker, I said they would win between 11 and...
Oh, okay.
I didn't say they were getting 11.
I say it's going to be the last team that has the ball. That's what I think. I think defense is going to be non-existent in either one of those two games. I'm not going to say it's going to be an old-fashioned SEC shootout because that means they're going to combine for like maybe 10 points, but I got whoever has the ball last is going to win that game.
Listen to me, I'm a degenerate fucking gambler, and I'm telling you right now, the over/under.
It's 7, isn't it? I thought under was 27. Yeah, take it
27.
over.
Over/under is 27.
Would you take it under or over?
Under.
Yeah, that's SEC.
All day.
Under 27 points?
It's SEC football. That's how these teams play.
That Hawaiian fucking weirdo is not going to make it past the first quarter. It's not going to happen.
That'll be Tua.
Joe Burrow is going to score more points than Alabama has in the last 10 days.
Well, this is the crazy point. So it's the over. I mean, I think the spread is 7, and the over under is 27. So they're actually predicting the score to be what? What is that? I mean, 21, like 17 to 14 kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, it's supposed to be low. Yeah.
Yeah. So I could definitely see that. These teams always play that way. I mean,
all right.
Every single team. You're talking about an hour.
Yeah. No. In all seriousness, let's back it up. In all seriousness, two great defenses. Joe Burrow is an outstanding player. He has some weapons on the outside. They don't have a really good running game. Alabama, I think, can score 10 to 12 points, but I don't think they're going to score more than that. We'll see what happens on turnovers. I'm very interested in what happens with special teams. I'm very interested to see who blocks what punt. I'm very interested to see who fumbles a punt, who gets an interception. I think it's a close game. Honestly, in all seriousness, I think LSU wins 17-13.
Yeah.
Ross?
Again, I just think it's whoever has. I think it's the last team to have the ball. It is in Alabama. They always rise to this. I mean, I don't think Alabama's played basically not even a ranked Power 5 team yet. It was Texas A&M, but they're not ranked anymore. So I mean, they're getting a lot of slack for their schedule. And this is by far the biggest game that they're going to have all year as to date. I mean, Tua's just coming back from an injury. You don't know maybe how he's going to react in an environment like this. It's the number one game. I mean, other than obviously.
Yeah. So Ross, does Tua play if it's not LSU?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how severe his injury is. He just had that. I mean, I can tell you, you're going to want to play for this because it's I don't know. This guy's still, I don't want to say it's awards or accolades or anything like that, but I mean, it's a big game, and I wouldn't expect either him or anybody to be out of this particular game with this magnitude because, I mean, I think even if he's hurt, he comes in and he plays that game, which is why it remains to be seen exactly what's going on with that.
No, I agree 100%. I think if you're game, you're game, right? Like, if you're there to play, you're there to play.
If you're playing Rutgers in Maryland, I don't think he plays.
Correct. If it's Samford or the other 6 non-ranked FCS teams that they play, he's not playing. So this kid is, and I don't mean to call them kids. I don't want to call them kids.
They're kids. We're old. They're kids.
Yeah, but anyway.
Man, that's why we love kids.
I digress. Back up from calling him a kid. This young fellow stands to make millions. And if you walk on that field to play LSU and tear an abdomen or, I mean, whatever it is that he breaks 2 or 3 ribs, whatever's going on with his body, I shudder at the fact that he may get seriously injured. Yeah. So the kid has a chance to make a lot. Leonard Fournette, right? A couple of years ago, from LSU. He didn't play in the bowl game, right?
Right.
Hey, look at Nick Bosa.
Now look at him. Yeah, Bosa. Look at Bosa. Hey, man, I got hurt. I'm going to fucking heal my shit up. I'm going to go out to California and fix my shit because what really matters is what happens in March when I'm drafted or whenever they draft now.
All right, so here's the deal. This is my pick, and this is what we're going to end on, and we're going to fucking call it a night here, fellas. Alabama beats LSU by more than 2 touchdowns. It's in Tuscaloosa. We're talking about Nick Saban. Nick Saban, Alabama, the Mystique in Tuscaloosa. They will pick Joe Burrow off at least 3 times, take 1 to the house. They will cover the over-under 27 points, which is ludicrous, as well as cover the spread. Alabama by at least 2 touchdowns or more. They will prove that they are still the best team in the country, and it will be Ohio State, Alabama for all the marbles at the end of the year. Period. Mark it down. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another edition of the Buckeye Leafcast, and I am proud to have had my motherfucking 2 boys on, Mr. Kevin Imes and Mr. Ryan Ross Roar.
Good night.
There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, this edition of the Buckeye Leafcast brought to you by Christie's Cleaning Services, LLC. It's not clean until it's Christie Clean. Be sure to visit our Facebook page. That's right. On Facebook at Christie's Cleaning Services, LLC. And you can check us out at Buckeye Leafcast on Twitter. We're on YouTube.
Andy Evans.
Yes, sir.
All platforms.
All platforms, that's right. YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Podbean. We're looking to expand. You can hit up Kevin at round third 25, and Ross.
That's right.
You're Roar Ryan on Twitter, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, just there's no way you can contact me, so just listen to me here.
Okay, fantastic. There we go. Good way to fucking wrap it up, you dick cheese motherfucker. All right! God damn it, thank you for downloading another edition of this show. And gentlemen, one at a time. Kevin, you first. Ross followed up. We're going to fucking send these motherfuckers off like we always do with a fat, hearty OH!
I-O!
Go motherfucking Bucks.